We are back with another special. In fact, it is our first special of the new year. He is one of the fastest rising stars on the UK independent scene. You would have seen him on the WWE Network with Progress Wrestling as one of the originals of the new generation, a semi-finalist in the Natural Progression Series. He's had standout performances throughout the UK scene. He is the UKPW Inter-regional champion and the Fight Nation Wrestling heavyweight champion. He is the kid without fear, Danny Black. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, that's a big intro, man.
We like it. It's pro wrestling. We like to give our guys the biggest intros we can possibly do. And of course, we are Tea and Tights, a Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on bodyslam.net, brought to you by Powerful TV. I'm your host, the Great British Taku, Mr. Andrew Moore and Ethan Most, and my co-host, as always, Big Daddy Dan, Daniel Allen, or just Dan for short.
Good evening, and I am so happy to have this amazing, fantastic, awesome wrestler here. Danny Black, you collect and complete our set. We have had all four of the amazing members of the best match of 2021, in my opinion, including Mr. Callum Newman, including Just Joe Lando, and of course, including Maverick Mayhew and yourself.
Thanks. It's so sick. I've listened to all the interviews you did with all the boys, and it's so sick hearing that it was match of the year for you, because obviously the standard since wrestling's come back has been so good. I'm just happy I'm in the conversation somewhere. But to be someone's favorite match, and that obviously that match was so much fun for us because we're all actual best friends. So to all be in the same match was so cool.
It was brilliant, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thank you very much for it. The same way I thank all of the other guys.
Indeed, and as I say, it was so much fun having all of the guys on the show, and I'm sure we're going to have so much fun with yourself as well, because you have had, I've talked about fastest rising stars, because you got a bit of a jump start on some of the other guys in the new year, as with Progress Wrestling, you were able to start back a little bit sooner, but you went out and you became the UKP Inter-regional UKPW champion, as well as the Fight Nation Wrestling heavyweight champion. And speaking with Tate Mayfair's back in the day, we know you've had a huge history, obviously, behind the scenes with IPW, FNW. So what was that like?
Yeah, it was sick. As I said, I used to crew with, I started my first ever training with IPW at the time. Back in 2016, I think October time is when I started. So yeah, that's where I started, and then eventually the company changed hands a few times, whatever, changed names here and there, and ever since then I've been going to shows, helping out here and there when I could. My first ever live shows were IPW shows, where I got to see some of my favorite wrestlers live for the first time, which was super inspiring. And then when the shows moved to Milton Keynes, I went there to crew, help out and watch the shows and enjoy them. They had the best of British wrestling on there, which was so sick to see for me. And such I guess seeing the goal right in front of you, where it's this is the standard I need to get to. And now that I'm not only in the mix, but the top champ there, it's mad.
I'm looking forward to seeing you on Thursday night. I am going to be in attendance again. I've got my season ticket for FNW, and I love that venue. What do you think of the Unit 9 venue? Are you inspired by the artwork on the walls?
Of course. The first time I walked into that venue, I was like, this is so cool. Because obviously I'm a big comic book fan, big nerd. So seeing all those pictures on the wall, the first thing I thought was, obviously I wanted to wrestle there because of the names that wrestle there and all that. But the first thing I thought was, I want to wrestle here so I can get a picture in front of all these comic book things.
Would have been the first thing in my head as well, because we've said it before to you guys, we are big absolute geeks ourselves, and in fact I'm wearing my Daredevil in for yourself today.
There it is.
The man without fear for the kid without fear. We'll talk about your love for comics in a little bit more But before we get on to your upcoming match for FNW, we'll talk about that lead into becoming champion. So FNW returned with Renaissance, and you had an incredible Z-Force tournament first round match with Callum Newman, and you were a last-minute opponent, weren't you, Change?
Yeah, so he was meant to originally go against Dexter, I think. And I got the message like a couple of days before saying like he can't do it anymore. Can you do it? And I was like, yeah, sure. Because I think I'd been in talks with them about like being involved with the shows and that prior, but I wasn't meant to be at that show, obviously. And I had the day available, so I thought, why not wrestle one of my best friends? Because obviously being against Callum, I was extra excited for it. And it was actually just like a few days after the last lot of tapings we did for Progress. So I was feeling really sore, and I'd been in like my shoot job all week. So I was so tired, but I was like, I need to go wrestle Callum because it's going to be sick. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love wrestling Callum. I could wrestle him every day.
The one thing that reminds me every time in that match is that leap Callum Newman makes from the stage onto the top rope, into the springboard drop kick. Did you guys talk that out beforehand, or was that a spur of the moment decision?
Yeah, so he's been wanting to do something with that jump for a while, because like it just messing about before the shows. I think even before lockdown, he just like before the shows, he'd just like run up and do that jump for fun. He was like, I want to use this in the match. And he never got to do it for some reason. So when I turned up that day, I was like, you going to do it today? He was like, yeah. So he was like, we definitely got to get that in. Because it's ridiculous how easy he makes it look. Because that leap is big. Like the ring's not against the stage. It's a bit further. Like there's a decent sized gap between the stage and the ring. And then he's jumping from like floor level up straight up to the top rope as well. And he just does it so easy. It annoys me, but...
Well, yeah, you see some guys actually struggling to get over and across.
Yeah, exactly.
Hatch.
Hatch for one, yes. Now, of course, so you were then going to be part of the FNW Tag Team Championship tournament alongside Billy Hayes' Troubled Youth. Yeah. You got a bye through the first round due to, I believe, the first tag team pulled out. So you just got a bye through, and you took on the Rebellion in the semi-finals, and you took a hellacious bump in that one.
We didn't wrestle the Rebellion in that.
Oh,
we wrestled the Henchmen.
Oh, my bad. It was the Henchmen, the big boys, the Henchmen. I can't believe I mistake those two. Sorry.
So yeah, we wrestled the Henchmen, and I think it was only like 5 minutes into the match or something, like a crossbody catch into a power bomb. It like threw out my shoulder. So obviously, backstage we figured it out. Jay Joshua was there, and I know Jay and Billy are really close, and I love Jay as well. I know he's so good. So I was happy for him to take my place, and I was just happy to see them go all the way and win the belts because they're two good guys. Like I've known Billy for years, I think since 2016, because he used to come over and do a couple of IPW seminars. So yeah, I've known him for years. I've been friends with him for years. And JJ I met at the Frontline Wrestling Young Lions tryout in 2018 or 19. Yeah, so I've known both guys for long, and I've known how good they are. So I was just happy to see them succeed.
Such a lovely photo of you celebrating with them with the belts. Really great picture.
Yeah, I was just so happy for them. Like, even though I couldn't be a part of it, I was like, to a point, I didn't really care. Like, as long as they went all the way.
Of course, it all kind of worked itself out because you were going to have the main event match against Chris Ridgway at the end of year show, but there was a lot of COVID about. A lot of people ended up pulling those changes, quite a few different matchups throughout the night. But in the end, you ended up taking on Luke Jacobs. The idea of the match being that I'm a heavyweight, you're a lightweight, and well, you proved him wrong.
Yeah, Luke is definitely a heavyweight. That guy hits hard. Yeah, I love wrestling Luke and Ethan, of course. I wrestled, actually tagged with Ridgeway against the Young Guns at Progress in the opening round of the tag tournament there. And I've said it elsewhere, like the first time I got in the ring with the Young Guns, they're both actually younger than me. And I've never felt so outclassed in my life. They're like, it's so hard to explain, but like everything they do is just like excellent in the ring. Like footwork, timing, technique, everything is like perfect. And I remember I think it was the first day of that lot of tapings. So I was like, because there's obviously no wrestling on during that time because it was like lockdown. So I'd had the last lot of tapings, but I think there was about 3 weeks, maybe a month between. So I'd not done wrestling for like a month. That was the first match back. That was the first match back. And I was like, I'm nowhere near these guys' level. But yeah, it's just great to wrestle both of them. And then obviously Luke again at Fight Nation. Yeah, he's just one of the best in the country by far. And it was just great, even though obviously I would have loved to wrestle Ridgeway, but obviously he couldn't do it because of illness. I've wrestled him twice before. He's one of my other favourite people to wrestle, just because like he's one of the best in the country, if not the world, easily. And one of the nicest people, even though he doesn't look come across that way in the matches. Backstage, nicest people to be around. I love him. So, and same with like it's night and day. They're scary in ring personas, and then like the loveliest guys backstage. So.
Yeah, even I got that when I went at the Wrestle Carnival show. He was the first guy I asked for the autograph of, and I'm thinking like I'm just going to get like a look and a thing, but you're like, yeah, sure, of course. Yeah. But yeah, we've talked about it quite often, how much we admire Chris Ridgeway as a competitor, without a doubt. In the UK right now, probably the best technical wrestler in the UK right now. And as you say, should really be talked about in the top. You know, when dream matches come to mind for Bryan Danielson, Chris Rage is at top of the list of mine every time.
Oh, I've never even thought of that. I'd love to see that. That would be insane.
That would be a good show.
But of course, after the match, you were attacked by Keenan of Northwest Strong, but saved by Jay Joshua and Billy Hayes. So we're going to see a formation of maybe a trios of troubled youth.
Who knows? You know, obviously I've got this title defense this Thursday, but who knows what the future holds after that? I'm sure I know definitely I would love to get my hands on Northwest Strong again, and I know the boys would back it. So,
of course, we'd love to see another scrap between you and the Northwest Strong lads. But let's talk about, as you say, Unit 9, Milton Keynes, Rise of the Kingdom on the 27th. You were due to be facing Francesco Akira. Unfortunately, it's now been replaced by Warren Banks. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting back in the ring with Warren Banks. He was the man that beat you in the semi-finals of the Natural Progression. Sorry.
Keep the memories alone. Yeah. I was obviously really looking forward to wrestling Akira. I wanted to wrestle him for a while. But obviously health comes first, so I wish him the best. But yeah, getting to wrestle Banks again is going to be amazing. I've wanted to wrestle him again since that Natural Progression match. At the time, I felt like it was the best match I'd had. I feel like we've got great in-ring chemistry, and he's amazing. Like, out of all the new gen of Progress, I think he's one of the top stars. Like, naturally, he just feels like he fits. I love getting to wrestle him, so it's going to be great, and I'm going to get my win back.
Excellent. Fighting talk. We love it.
Excellent. So we're going to run down the Fight for Nation card. If you give us just a quick thoughts on each of the matches coming up. So Axel Tisco versus Luke Jacobs. Is Tisco going to be there? Do you know? Because he was out of Progress this weekend.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know what the reason was at Progress, but I just know it was health-related reasons. So if he's okay, I'd love to see that match. If not, I'm sure they've got a great replacement. So any match with Jacobs is going to be a banger. So I'm sure it'll be.
Legends of the UK scene, Mark Haskins and Martin Kirby. I'm sure you must be dying to see this one.
Yeah, of course. They're two guys that I used to watch just come into crew Fight Nation IPW shows at Unit 9. Haskins in particular, I remember watching him as a crew member every match he had. I remember in particular Haskins versus Ridgway when I was crewing, and I just forgot that I was crewing and just became a fan again. So good. I definitely love to wrestle both those guys. So if they want a title shot, I'm more than happy.
Kind of you.
Yeah, I think they've earned it.
Another good friend of yours, Nino Bryan, Big Guns Joe, Gene Money, and Nico Angelo in a fatal four-way.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Nino getting his opportunity at Fight Nation. He'd only really been doing like the smaller shows and some decent shows around London, and then he got a breakout performance in that Defend Indie tournament. I was so happy to see that. He was on the same beginners course as me at the Projo / Knucklelocks back in 2017. And I've known he was going to be a massive star since then. He's so good. And I'm so happy for him that he's getting all these opportunities now because he definitely deserves them. And Nico's another one as well that I'm happy to see there. I met him same time as Jay Joshua at the Frontline tryouts. And I was blown away by him then, and he's only gotten better since then. So that'll be a great match.
For guys that maybe haven't seen Nino in action, Will Ospreay once nicknamed him Rey Mysterio. So
he did. Nino was Rey Mysterio, and Callum was Eddie Guerrero.
That's it. Mad Kurt versus Ashley Dunn for the Z-Force Championship.
Whenever I think of Mad Kurt, his theme song gets stuck in my head, so I don't want to think about it for too long. But I'm happy Ashley Dunn back. I've actually got a match with Ashley Dunn at Triumph Wrestling next month on the 13th, I think. No, 12th. I'm not sure. Whatever the Sunday is. This is 12th or 13th. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
He had that incredible match against Callum Newman at the last Triumph show. That was so good when I watched that match. I was very, very impressed, and very underrated guy. Hopefully start to see him break out this year as well. Change to the female fight league recently. Laura Di Matteo will now just be facing Rhea O'Reilly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Laura's great. I've seen her on loads of shows that I've been on recently, Ambush and Progress, obviously. I've actually I don't think I've ever seen Rhea work. Like, I know her name, but I don't think I've ever seen one of her matches. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings to it. Yeah,
big part of the Pro Wrestling Eve promotion. I know that much. I haven't actually seen huge amounts of her work, but Laura Di Matteo, huge fan of hers. Then it's the Tag Team Championship match. Jay Joshua and Billy Hayes versus the 8-7 Roy Johnson and Alexander Roth. And I've just realized you're in the main event against a member of the 8-7, Warren Banks.
I am. Yeah, my boys have got this easy. And I've got to back the boys. But like, I'm so happy for Roth as well, getting out there more, because he's been underrated for ages. I've wanted to wrestle him since I first met him. So hopefully that match happens at some point somewhere, whether that's UKPW, Fight Nation, anywhere. But yeah, Roth was really underrated for ages. So I'm glad to see him coming up with the 8-7 boys. And obviously Roy and Banks are great. But, you know, me and the boys are going to beat them all. So
excellent. So you might have feuds with Northwest Strong and the 8-7s going forward. But what about a match with Callum Newman? He does hold a pinfall victory over you in Fight Nation Wrestling.
I'm ripping this off now. Yeah. No, yeah, I'd love to have a rematch with Callum. He's one of my favourite people to wrestle, one of my best friends, and I suppose he does deserve it, getting that win over me. So yeah, I'd gladly wrestle, defend my belt against anyone, but I'd be more than happy to wrestle Callum for it.
I'm sure he'll be more than happy to hear that. So let's move on to, of course, Progress Wrestling, the upper echelon of British independent wrestling. Has been the name synonymous with British wrestling for the last 8 years, 10 years or so, for however long. And you finally got to make your debut as part of the Natural Progression series. How did that all feel? How did it come about? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it was a weird situation and a really weird way to debut for Progress. Prior to that, I'd done one pre-show match for them at the Ballroom, which was really cool in 2019. Excuse me. So yeah, it was like in the midst of lockdown. I had no inkling that any wrestling was going on for a while. Like, I kind of accepted it. I have no clue when this is going to be back. And then I got a random email from someone new working at Progress saying, can we have a call with you? And I was like, yeah, sure. I had no clue what it was for. I didn't even click in my head. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll have a chat. I've got not much else on. And then I got a call from two people from Progress, two of the new guys involved. And they basically said, yeah, we want you as a part of the Natural Progression series. And I was ecstatic because obviously I wasn't expecting to even wrestle yet, let alone wrestle for Progress. So yeah, it was mad how it came about, and the fact that I got to do it when no other wrestling was on. Like, I was so lucky to just be wrestling in general, but let alone for arguably the biggest promotion in the UK and showcased on the WWE Network. I had faith in myself, and I knew I was going to get to the Progress main shows eventually, but I didn't know it was going to be this soon, and I didn't know I was going to be as big a part of it, which I'm so grateful for.
Your first match against Elijah, had you ever come across Elijah before?
I'd met him a few times. We've done a few shows together here and there. Not that many, as I pretty much only did shows in London before lockdown. And obviously he's from Wales, so whenever he came down to London for the odd show here and there, I'd met him. But obviously never crossed paths in the ring. He's great. Such a specimen. Like, he's in insane shape. You don't realize it. Like, it's even better in person. Like, the size of him, you don't expect it. And yeah, great wrestler. I was so happy to get him in the first round to showcase what we could both do, and obviously came out on top. Got to the semi-final, and then yeah, but you know.
I must admit, the first time I saw Elijah was that Charles Crowley called me invited. And my first thought was, who is this guy? Have I not seen him before? Because he was, as you say, just absolutely trim, jacked. He's got muscles on muscles.
Yeah. You feel very, very sure having to wrestle him the first match back after lockdown, where I was feeling extra skinny. And I was like, I've got to stand next to this jacked guy.
Oh, I love that video. That's still one of my favourite things of lockdown, was that Charles Crowley or Cordial Invited video. It was great fun. So
for fans that may not know of it, I don't know if it's still available on YouTube, but Charles Crowley had, with quite a few different British wrestlers from all over the scene, put together a little, I guess, a first ever cinematic match. It was awesome. But you've had so many great matches for Progress Wrestling. The biggest one, of course, against Cara Noir for the Progress Championship match, in one of the best matches of that era, in my opinion. That was really, really well done. The entire layout of the match, and then the match itself, just everything seemed perfect.
Oh, thanks so much. That's really cool to hear. Yeah, as I said, like, going into Progress, I was kind of like the young guy just happy to be here sort of thing. I thought I'd be MPS, and I didn't know like how involved I'd be after that, but I was grateful for any opportunity, obviously. But to be given a title match with Cara Noir for the for the biggest company in the UK on the WWE Network, like just saying all that together is crazy. And yeah, it was so cool to wrestle Cara. I've been a big fan of him for ages, since before he was Cara. I used to obviously go to those old IPW shows. He was Black Belt Tom Dawkins back then, and I was a fan of him back then. To see how far he's come is really inspiring, and kind of storyline and shoot, I guess, backstage. He was like kind of like a mentor to me that whole time. Like him, as well as Ridgeway and Lycos, they all helped me a great deal on those tapings, like giving me advice and feedback and just being like lovely to me backstage, really. So yeah, and obviously, like, to peel back the curtain, when planning a match with Cara is so interesting because he doesn't look at wrestling the way anyone else does. Like, his mind for wrestling is so unique that it makes wrestling him so easy in the planning, because you're just like, tell me what to do, I'll do it. Like, you're the mastermind here, I'll sit back. And yeah, it was great. I'd love to wrestle Cara again, obviously, anywhere for any opportunity. And his match yesterday, I don't know when this is going out, I went to the first live show for Progress. His match with Ridgeway was incredible.
That first the first three falls match, isn't it? I can't wait. Do you know when it's going to be on the network, or is it going to go on demand first and then a delay onto the network?
I know it's definitely going on the network and demand. I have no clue when. I don't think it'll be too long. If I had to guess, I'd say 2 weeks, but don't take my word for it. I have no clue.
Hopefully so, because there's so many great matches from that show to thing. And as I say, we'll definitely... well, let's talk about it. You were there. Progress is back in front of live fans. They're back at their home, the Electric Ballroom, Camden, London. How was that? What was that like, just walking out on the stage?
Yeah, it was great to see the Progress family again. Because obviously it sounds cheesy, but we built this like family relationship over lockdown, because we was like the only people outside of our bubbles we were seeing, and we all got really close, and it was a great environment backstage. So much fun to be around everyone, and yeah, it was just great to see everyone again. The production team, the management, like, they're all so cool, and like in with the boys and the girls. Like, we're just one big family and we have a laugh. So it was great to see everyone before the show, and I didn't have a match on the first show back. I was just there to enjoy the show and see everyone. I will definitely be having matches in the future. Can't say anything yet, but I will. So yeah, it was great to be in the crowd and soak up the environment, because I've crewed there a few times back in the day, and getting to see it from that perspective, but to fully just be able to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show as a fan again, it was so good, and it just got me even more excited to get in the ring.
So I've got a question for you from your fan point of view. Anthony Ogogo's reaction when he appeared, how was that from the fans?
It was incredible. So obviously, being in with Progress and being there early, I knew he was going to be there. And I've actually met him a few times before at Play Fight, Cara's training school. Very nice guy, very, very humble, very talented. So yeah, obviously I knew he was going to be there, and I knew he was going to be a surprise match. So I was kind of like waiting there, giddy, to see what the reaction was going to be like. And I knew he was coming, and his music hit. And I was standing next to some people, and they just looked at each other and went, "Oh, go!" And they just got excited. And then he came out, and the place erupted. Like, he got such a good reaction. Like, people chanting "Holy shit!" standing. Like, it was amazing to see from a fan's perspective. Like it's moments like that where you're like, you're not a wrestler anymore, you're just a fan again. And it's good to be a part of it.
Now, we know you were only there as a fan, but Kosta decided to make you part of the show.
Yeah. He can't keep his mouth shut, can he? Like, he says all the time, you're not on me and Malik's radar. But then first thing he does when he's back in the ballroom in front of the fans, there's Danny Black. Why are you chatting about me? Well done, your boy won. Like, yeah, you took the piss after, and I definitely haven't forgot about that. But now you're making it about me still. Like, I'm in their heads. I don't even have to try. And like, I was just sitting back. I was with my girlfriend, relaxing, enjoying the show. He gets on the mic. Oh, Danny Black's here. I was like, yeah, all right. Continue with the show. Go on. And then halfway through the match, he pipes up to me on the outside. And then that distracts Malik. So if anything, it was Kosta's fault. I didn't even do anything. I was just clapping back at Kosta, and Malik got distracted, which probably cost him the match. Good. I don't care. And then he comes out trying to fight me after. I'm in the crowd. I'm like, fine, we'll fight right here. I don't care. We can fight. But Kosta held his boy back, even though it was his fault. I'm sure it's not the last I've heard of them two, even though I want it to be, because they just run their mouths. I'm down to fight Malik whenever. So whenever he wants it, he can come get it.
That's it. Chapter 1 to 8 technique up in Manchester in a couple of weeks. All back at the ballroom for chapter 129. I choose you.
Now, I don't want you to be facing Malik at 129. I choose you.
Who do you want?
I've seen who's been announced today as coming in for that show. Swerve the Realist.
Yes.
Oh, how amazing would it be to see Danny Black against Shane Strickland?
That would be. Was on my list. I don't know if you saw. Everyone was doing lists at the start of the year, so I thought might as well throw mine out. Like, some were more ambitious than others, but all of them I feel like realistic now, being in with Progress and like the caliber of talent they get in. Any of them could happen easily, and all these or whatever you want to say. So yeah, he was one on my list. I'd love to wrestle him. I don't know if it's going to happen on that show, but hopefully at some point it will happen. He's so good. Like, he's been over to the UK loads, and I've trained under him quite a few times. Whenever he's come over, he's done training sessions in multiple schools, and I've been at every single one I could get to. Yeah, he's so talented, and I'd love to wrestle him.
The first match I had ever seen of Swerve was that Progress match against Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Jaw-dropping action from just from the moment the bell rings, jaw-dropping act. That was such a good match. And yeah, I can imagine you would have such a great match with him. We would love to see that. But there's going to be a new Natural Progression series. Who have you tipped? Who? If you were to pick 8, normally we ask a few less. We usually only go for around 4 when asking who do you see coming up on the scene right now. But if you had the choice, 8 young guys to be in that new Natural Progression series, who are you going to go with?
Oh. Okay, I've got a few names in mind. I'm going to have to dig deep to get 8. Like, there's so many. I know I'm going to miss some and I'm going to be mad. But so my first few picks are quite easy for me. I'm going to go with Nino.
Yep.
One of the best flyers in the country, and he needs to get recognised as that soon enough. I've been lucky to wrestle him loads of times. One of my favourite people to wrestle. I hope to do it loads more. He's going to be great. So he should definitely get a spot. Nino, I'll go with Nico Angelo for the next one, because I have no clue why he's not in Progress yet. Insane talent. And just watching that Defend Indie tournament, like, you could pick any of those names for the MVS. Like, they wouldn't look out of place. And saying that again, Jay Joshua would be my next pick. One of my boys, he picked up the tag title with Billy Hayes. I love him. Great wrestler. I've seen him wrestle loads of times now. Still haven't wrestled him. I'd love to. So there we go. We've got Nino, Nico, JJ.
3.
I will go with Tommy Kyle.
Good pick.
Yes, very underrated. I hadn't seen much of his work until we started getting on a lot more shows together recently. Just super nice guy, and watching backstage and watching footage back from shows he's been on, I've been super impressed with him. He's definitely up and coming star. There's 4. Here we go. I'm gonna say Roth, Alexander Roth.
Alexander, yeah.
My 5th pick. 8-7 ties, obviously. Can come in and do stuff with them guys, but yeah, as I said, underrated guy. Like, he's got such good charisma. Just like, you can't not love him when he's a babyface, and you can't not hate him when he's a heel. Like, he's great. 5. Okay, who am I going to go for now? Who should I go for? Oh, Joe Lando. Obviously, Joe Lando. There we go. Easy. Best flyer in Europe. He should be at Progress now. I'm sure he will be there soon. You know, I've been trying to get him in. I'm sure he'll come in soon. Then we'll go for another close personal friend of mine. We'll go with Callum Newman. I honestly, like, he could go straight to the main shows. Like, doesn't need the MPS. It's annoying how good he is. One of the best in the country now. And he's younger than all of us. It's annoying. How many I got left? 2?
Well, no, one more. That was it. One more
That's
to go.
One more pick. Who have I seen that's really good on shows recently? Do you know what? I'm gonna go with Simon Miller.
Why not?
He did such a good job hosting Progress yesterday. Like, obviously he would. Guy's got such good charisma, such good personality. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Super jacked. And I've actually wrestled him in a scramble ages ago. 2019 summertime, I believe. And I'm sure, yeah, he's improved since then. He was good back then, so why not?
Why not?
Well, we made up our own version in a previous episode for our own natural progression. I did have Simon Miller in my one, and Callum Newman and Nino Bryant. So, yeah, I'm quite happy you chose those guys.
I think I had Roth. And I can't remember. I'm sure I had a few others, but if I'm going to pick 2 right now for next year's Taintness of Greatness, Tate Mayfair's, and Ricky Knight Jr., because he still hasn't made his Progress debut yet. And again, another guy who could probably right now walk onto the main stage of Progress and not be a thing. But Natural Progression Series is a great way to bring guys like these in and earn a championship shot.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Awesome. Right, let's talk about your love for Daredevil, because you are the kid without fear. So when did that start?
So it started pretty early. I didn't have the gimmick for like my first 2 matches or something, but I had the idea for it. I just didn't have any of the gear or whatever. It was literally as simple as I needed a logo, and I was looking at my initials. And I was like, I'll just copy the Daredevil logo. Like, that'll fit the DNB. It was that simple. And it's like spawned from that, as obviously at the time I was like 17. Even though I'm an adult now, it's still a kid without fear. Shawn Michaels is still the heartbreak kid, and he's like nearly 60. So who cares?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like slightly changed it. So kid without fear from man without fear. And that, like, the without fear thing is, I don't feel like it's a gimmick for me. Like, it is. Obviously, I've taken it from Daredevil and taken inspiration from that, but it's how I am in real life as well. Like, I don't really fear things. to put it plainly, like, if a guy 10 times the size of me was going to come fight me on the street, I'd do it. Like, I don't care. So like, it works with my gimmick. Like, I don't care. I'll fight anyone.
No, love it. So do you prefer classic lawyer detective Daredevil or ninja Daredevil?
I'll go with the classic, but I've been wanting to do a gimmick match at some point. So I want to do a blindfold match, and I want to come out as like Ninja Daredevil from Netflix season 1. Like, I want to get that costume. I just think that would be sick, and I can do some really cool spots with it and that.
That's pretty. I must admit, I don't think I've ever seen a good blindfold match.
So yeah, there's a challenge. Have a good blindfold match.
I think the best have to be Jake the Snake Roberts versus the model Rick Martel. I think we're talking WrestleMania 7. So
I actually remember that match.
Yes, that's
So
how old
fucking
we
old.
are.
Yeah, I have children the same age as you. I was looking at your big cartel at the moment, and you've sold out of most of your things, and there's an awesome couple of bits of merch. One of them that I'm gutted I missed out on. The issue 2 zombie t-shirt looks amazing. I hope you get that one back up again. But the Nirvana inspired Get Rich or Die Trying top, that's amazing. As soon as you get those back out again, let me know, because I will be having one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, merch is something I love doing. Because I'm into like streetwear and fashion just in general, and it's a good way for me to like experiment with designs and stuff, and put stuff out that I would wear. And I don't just want to do like generic wrestling merch. I want to put stuff out that like if I walked into any shop on the high street and I saw, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, I might buy that. So yeah, obviously it's easy to get inspired from comic books because of like the art's amazing. That's one of the main reasons I started loving comic books as a kid, like just seeing the art. So the issued series I've got of t-shirts are all inspired by Daredevil. The first one was inspired by one of the Daredevil covers. I forget what the comic's called, but he's like hunched over in front of Paris, I think it is. So I just changed it to me hunched over in front of London, because obviously that's where I'm from. Then issue 2, I based it off the Marvel Zombie series. And then, I switched up from that because I didn't want to keep going with that. I'm definitely going to have an issue 3 at some point. But I wanted to get away from that for a bit, give you something different. So I did basically, I was just, I really love, red's my favorite color, and I love tie-dye. And I wanted to do a long sleeve because not many people do long sleeve t-shirts in wrestling. So I thought, it'll stand out on the table. And obviously I just had the idea, it's easy to rip off the Nirvana logo, isn't it? It's been done a million times. But I didn't want to just put that easy like rip off logo on a plain black t-shirt and just have it be boring. I wanted to like do something with it that would make it different. And I'll give you a bit of an exclusive. My next t-shirt is coming out 10th of February, and it's another music inspired t-shirt, but it's a graphic similar to a comic book t-shirt that I've done, so it's the best of both worlds.
Exciting.
Dan is the musical expert, as a 25-year experienced DJ.
Nice.
Even I didn't realize it was that long.
Started when I was 16. So what music are you listening to at the moment? What kind of thing are you into?
So it's funny, the Nirvana one is obviously a rock inspired, and the next one I have is another rock inspired t-shirt, but it's not really like the genre I enjoy. I have like a few songs here and there that I like that are from that genre, but the main genre I like is rap and grime. It's the genre I've loved since I was like 10. I used to love obviously American rap because that's all you'd hear on the radio. People like Jay-Z and all that. And then I remember flicking through music channels when I was about 10, and I came across a P Money song. I don't know if you know P Money. He's a grime artist from London, from near where I live, like Lewisham area. And I saw him and I heard the accent and I was like, this is cool. I didn't know they rapped it. Saw that, and then I got more and more into it over the years. And yeah, I love grime and rap. It's my favorite genre.
I grew up listening to hip hop, Biggie, Tupac, Wu-Tang Clan, KRS-One. That was my generation of it. Nowadays, I listen to Korean hip hop, which is absolutely the best hip hop going right now. I'm not kidding. It's absolutely fantastic stuff going on in K-pop, and Korean hip hop is fantastic.
Yeah, sounds cool.
What's your favorite entrance track? I know I'm stealing the Dan's favorite question.
Oh, my favorite entrance. Oh, Batista's entrance music. I Walk Alone. Yeah, it's the one. It still gets me hyped now, but it got me hype as a kid. Like every time it come on, I have to do the machine guns. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is such a good entrance. Like Batista was one of my favorites as a kid. So yeah, but I feel like all the entrance music from that era, like Ruthless Aggression on, was so good. It was probably because that's what I grew up on. But like in particular, Batista's entrance music, Randy Orton's old theme, we had the sparklers coming down. I loved it. And RVD's theme.
One of a kind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Favorites of all time. So yeah, I love that theme.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
Okay, what about your favorite normal music track to come out to in the UK?
Oh. Okay, so before lockdown, I used to come out to a Royal Blood song called Out of the Black, just because of the name, and it had a cool sound. It slightly reminisced Finn Balor's music from WWE, which was I didn't know how to feel about it because I didn't want people to think I was ripping him off, even though it's like its own song anyway. But yeah, it fit me. I really liked it. And then since it's come back, I've pretty much only come out to the custom theme I got from Hot Tag, which is made for me, so why not? The only notes I gave them was I want the intro to sound like the Daredevil Netflix intro, as close as we can get without being sued. And I want it to go into a grime beat because obviously that's my favorite genre. So I feel like they got it perfect, and yeah, I love coming out to that now.
Oh, yes, certainly suits. So before we go into just rounding up some of the matches that you've got coming up, our favourite question, I'll let you do it, Dan.
We always ask anyone that comes on. In America, they have Mount Rushmore with their top 4 American wrestlers. But we're in England, so we have Mount Rushden. We like to ask for your 4 most influential British wrestlers. They don't have to be, they could be current, they could be older, they could be absolutely anyone that you think deserves to be on the Mount Rushden of British wrestlers.
Okay. See, I've thought about this because I've watched guys' interviews with all my boys, with Joe, Callum and Mayhew. So I've given it some thought, but I'm still stuck on like the 4th person, but I'll try to come up. So my personal Mount Rushden would be all guys that inspired me when I was coming up. When I first started training and as I was making my way up on shows. And I feel like they're all different enough to where like they can make a very well-rounded Mount Rushden. So number 1 would have to be Ospreay. He's the main person that inspired me, pretty much the reason why I started to train. And yeah, it's so influential to wrestling in general. Like if you look at any high flyer after that Ospreay Ricochet match, they just copy it. And like, why not? It was one of the best matches of all time, in my opinion. So Ospreay is on there. Zack Sabre Jr. has got to be on there for me. At the time I was getting into it, he was like Zach Free Belts or whatever he was doing. Like he had the PWG world title. He was over here all the time. He was in Japan, like taking over the world, and he's just quality. Like there's not a better technical wrestler in the world, in my opinion. I mean, Ridgeway's getting up there now. That's a match I'd love to see now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Will, Zach, Pete Dunn will be my third. And yeah, these are all guys that I've been lucky enough to train with and like be around as I was coming up, and it's so inspiring to see them all. Like the success that Pete's had in WWE, it's insane to see. Like I was training with this guy in a cold like undercarriage in Brixton a couple of years ago, and now he's on like NXT. Yeah, one of the best wrestlers in the world, Pete Dunn. And this is where I get stuck on my fourth one. It's going to be hard. Who should I go for? Will, Zach, Pete. I will go with someone that I didn't think of initially, but I agree with Callum when he said it. Mark Andrews. Another, obviously, big inspiration to me. Someone else I've trained under as well. Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit for the inspiration he did, and like he came up with Pete and all the Defend boys, and I feel like he's easily on the same level as Pete. So I feel like he should be having the same success, but obviously not to undermine the success he's having now in NXT UK. But he could easily go over to main NXT or main roster. So good. So yeah, there we go. We've got Ospreay, Pete Dunn, Zack Sabre Jr., Mark Andrews.
To be honest, Andrews, for his role in what he did, help promote in progress in those early days. Definitely deserves to be right up there and going on to Impact Wrestling before coming back to do more progress and joining NXT UK. He's a superstar.
That match that he had with Nathan Fraser at the end of last year was just so good.
Yes, that was a great one. He had the Noam Dar, the heritage match he had with Noam Dar as well. I really enjoyed that one. The second Heritage Cup.
Which leads us to rounds matches. Have you had any rounds matches? Are you looking to have some rounds matches?
I have. I've had one rounds match against Nino at Rumble Promotions. That match happened in that weird week between Christmas and New Year where time isn't a thing. So
27th.
27th?
27th. I'm pretty sure it was the 27th.
Cool. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. We know why it was the 27th as well. Because we got invited to go along and watch that one, but we were at Rev Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I really enjoyed it. It was something different, something exciting to try, like different to planning a normal match. I really enjoyed it. It was easy working Nino, obviously. I love working him, and it was cool to do something different. You know, I was heel there, something different for me as well, which I don't really get to do. But I had a lot of fun with it, and I'd love to do some more.
Yeah, because you were part of the whole Rumble Wrestling tournament leading up to that with Maverick Mayhew, Nino, and Big Dan was there.
Yes,
I was indeed.
So
been down to Rumble a couple of times. Lovely guys.
Yeah, they are a really good bunch of guys. But UKPW is another one where you've become the Inter-regional champion. We had Alex on. We did the retrospective. Very highly praised yourself for a lot of your matches, including the one with Just Joe Lando, in which he was a last-minute replacement. Literally, he got the phone call from you on the day, didn't he?
Yeah, that day was stress. I don't envy Alex. Like, it was stress for me, so let alone him being the promoter. Just as a side note, like, I can't say enough good things about where Alex and the other guys have taken UKPW. It's such a good place to work now. The professionalism is so on point, and it's not professionalism in the boring way where they take themselves too seriously. Like, you still have a joke around them. Proper nice guys, but where they've taken and where they want to take UKPW is so good. I can't praise them enough. That day I got the message from Alex saying Ashmore's had to pull out. Do you know anyone we can get in last second? I was like, oh, I'll try. I'll message some people. So I messaged Joe, Callum, a few other people. And then I don't think anyone was replying for a while. And me and Alex were stressing, like, we need to get someone, because this is like on the day. It's literally hours before I'm about to leave to go to the show. So I'm just like, I need to phone someone. So I go to my phone, but I call Joe Lando. I was like, Joe, what are you doing today? He's like, nothing. I was like, do you want to wrestle me? He was like, yeah. I was like, can you get to this place? And he was like, I'll see. And I was like, I don't care if you can. You'll get into this place. You're wrestling me. So yeah, I put him in a group with Alex. We all had a chat. He got on the first train he could. He only turned up like after the show had started, I think. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about Joe as a wrestler and as a person. Again, one of my best friends. Such a good worker. I love wrestling him. And it's so easy when you just like you click with someone. Obviously, being close personal friends with Joe, like I know him, he knows me. It wasn't hard to plan the match. I feel like our styles mesh really well because I love cruiserweight wrestling. Like as I said, Ospreay Ricochet was what got me into it. So those style of matches are some of my favourites to do. And it's so easy when you've got the best flyer in Europe in Joe to wrestle. So yeah, that was great. I loved it.
You went on to then win the Inter-regional championship with UKPW at the tables, ladders and scares in a 5-man ladder match.
Yes.
In a 14-foot ring.
Yeah, it was interesting. That day was a bit hectic because I got to the venue and I had the full zombie makeup gimmick as a little shout out to my issue 2 t-shirt because it was the event was on Halloween. So I said to the makeup artist, I was like, I want to do a zombie look, and she was like, come see me as soon as you get to the venue because it's going to take a while to do your whole torso. So I was like, cool. So I got to the venue, dropped my bags, ran straight over to her. She did such a good job, but it took a while. So yeah, I was fully zombied up like an hour later or whatever. Went out. Not even everyone was there for the match, and we've got this good but little ring and this massive ladder, and I'm there in like full zombie makeup, fully in gear, and everyone's just still coming in. And Mayhew's there, and I'm like, what are we gonna do? But yeah, we made it work. UKPW and the crowd were very happy with the match, which I was happy about. And yeah, ended up taking the belt home, which was my first ever singles title. So yeah, it was a really cool day. I loved it.
And this 19th, the February the 19th, you're in Falconwood Community Centre, where you will be taking on your good friend, Just Joe Lando, once again, which I suppose only right. He does have the pinfall victory.
Yeah, annoyingly, he does. Second, I was preparing for Ashmore, had my tactics to take down a bigger guy, and then there's Joe, same size, same quickness. So, yeah, he got that pinfall over me, but obviously I'm not planning on losing any titles anytime soon. Like he said, I'll defend against anyone. He can have the rematch, but I'm getting my win back.
And making your way to the heavyweight match against Alexander Roth at some point down the line then.
Love to.
Super. And then another match we've got you here for is Damon Moser the day before in Ely for Pro Wrestling Ambush. Are you looking forward to that one?
Of course, yeah. Ambush is one of the most fun places to work. I was saying it, my dad loves coming to those shows as well. And he described it as like family friendly progress. So like you have the progress that's like rowdy and like over 18s way, like Punk Pro Wrestling, whatever they was called. And yeah, the atmosphere is infectious there, and you have like some of the best talent in the country, obviously. But with Ambush, you have like the same quality of talent. Like a lot of the progress guys do those shows, but it's a really nice family feel because a lot of families come, and a lot of people that aren't as familiar with wrestling come to those shows. So it's a completely different crowd, but they're just as into it. but like in a different way. It's hard to describe unless you're there. So I definitely recommend, if you can make it, coming down to an ambush show, because the crowds are great there. Obviously, great backstage environment. I know all the guys there, and yeah, they're great for Danny Black merch. So hopefully I have some stuff left when I go there.
Oh, Ely's not too far from me because I'm based in Hertfordshire. So it's not too far at all. And I have been taking my son along to some family-friendly shows. So maybe this will be the next step up. I'm taking him along this weekend to Wrestle Carnival, which should be good. They've got an amazing show lined up this weekend. Maybe that'll be another one to take him along to.
Yeah, it's great for the kids. If you can bring them along, the kids love it there. But yeah, that weekend, great. I've got Ambush, then I've got Joe the next day at UKPW, and then who knows what I'm doing the next day. There is a Progress show on, so
who knows who you may be taking on that day. Indeed, I live up north, so when are you going to make the trip up north for me to come see you? Catch Pro Wrestling, North Wrestling, TNT Ignition, or Extreme?
Yeah, all of those places I love to work. I've spoken to the promoter from Catch here and there. Like, obviously nothing confirmed yet. He seems like a lovely guy, so hopefully we can work something out. I've been in loads of talks with Tidal up in Leeds. We can never seem to get like our dates lined up. Whenever they want me for a show, I'm already booked elsewhere. So it has to happen this year at some point. Where else? I'd love to wrestle Frog and Bucket.
I was just about to say I can see you at Modern Nomad.
Yeah, I would love to wrestle there. Maybe that would be a great place to do the blindfold gimmick, because they have all those weird gimmicks.
Yes.
Get like us on the phone. I'll talk to him. But and then TNT is another one that I've wanted to work for ages. I have been in talks with them, so hopefully we can make something work this year. So yeah, I should be up north at some point this year, so you'll be able to see me definitely.
There you go. You heard him. You heard him, guys. Get on the phone, promoters. Let's bring this man up north. Because as you say, there's some great promotions up here, and the ones you just mentioned are definitely amongst the list.
A lot of guys I haven't wrestled. There's like all the other 50 members were strong that I haven't wrestled, so I'd love to wrestle them.
Anyone at the top of the list of somebody you haven't wrestled who you'd like to?
Ooh, I've got two from Northwest Strong in particular. I haven't wrestled Keenan yet. Love to wrestle Keenan. And Rio.
Yes.
I've done one intergender tag match, but I've never had an intergender one-on-one. Some people don't like the phrase intergender, but whatever. I'm just using it to describe it.
Yeah.
I haven't, got to wrestle a female performer before one-on-one. So I'd love to. There's so many great ones out there. And Rio would be obviously a great place to start.
I think if you put a blindfold on Rio, would give you a bit more of an advantage. She is a kick-ass girl.
He would probably batter me, so I need to give myself a bit of a chance.
That's going to be brilliant. Is there anything else you'd like to say while you're here?
Oh, I can name a few more females I'd love to wrestle. I don't get to, like, a lot of the people that people suggest for me are obviously males, and obviously I love to wrestle all the ones I haven't yet. But yeah, like I said, there's so many great female performers out there. Kanji is one I'd love to wrestle. Giselle Shaw.
Impact's Giselle Shaw now.
That's so cool. So happy for her. She's one of the funniest people backstage as well. I love hanging out with her. So yeah, right. We've got Rio, Kanji, Giselle Shaw. Charlie Evans is back in the UK now. Maybe a death match. Who knows? We'll go with one more. Oh, Mercedes Blaze as well.
Yeah. She was always my pick for the MVP of the women's division of Progress, was Mercedes Blaze. Another question we nearly forgot. If you're going to tour America, Japan, or Europe first, which one are you doing?
Ooh. So obviously I love to tour all of them. But I'm not going to cop out. I'll choose one. I would say, if I had to pick one first, I'd say America. Japan is a massive goal for me. Obviously, the thing that got me back into wrestling was New Japan with the Best of the Super Juniors. But yeah, America have got such a talent pool now. Like with all the releases from WWE and all that, which is obviously unfortunate for them. But now they can go wherever they want, which is great for people like me. If I'm out there, I get to wrestle some of the best in the world. So yeah, there's so many great places, so many great people out there. And yeah, such a big place that you can go anywhere, and I'm sure it'll be different. So great place to tour.
Excellent. We'd love to see you in Europe as well. Some real top, great up-and-comers. Peter Tehanye from Hungary is one of my favourites. Going to give Joe Lando the run for the money on that best flyer in Europe.
Okay. I've not heard of him, but someone I have heard of and I've met, The Rotation from Germany.
Very good.
Yeah, he's very good. I'd love to wrestle him.
Of course, Wrestle Carnival going to be in Germany next year as part of the showcase for the 16 Carat weekend. They've just been announced, so congratulations to Wrestle Carnival on that. Is that a tournament you'd like to compete in one day? Of course, Cara Noir was the last 16 Carat champion.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's like Europe's equivalent to Battle of Los Angeles with PWG. So like that is a massive career goal for me. It's when I was getting back into wrestling, it's one of the things that I just binged, and I still do now. Like they've got the best wrestling in the world there. So yeah, the WXW tournament are always so good. They bring over the best talent. I recently watched Bandito versus Mike Bailey from, I believe it was the last tournament they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. Like to be in a tournament with guys like that would be a dream for me.
Excellent. You're hoping to be part of the Super 16 this year for the UK's equivalent, Progress equivalent, the Super Strong Style 16. That is coming back this year. So you're hoping to get your name in the hat?
Of course. I'd be silly not to. Like I'd love to. Like you're similar to WXW, that they get the best wrestlers from around the world, including the UK. So yeah, I'd also love to see Gene in there. Gene for Super Strong Style. So that'd be him in there. But selfishly, I would love to be in that tournament as well.
Yeah, Gene for 16. That's been like 3 years in a row now, hasn't it? We've been trying to get him in there. It's about time.
Hopefully this year we'll get it.
Super. All right, I think that about wraps us. We've had you for over an hour now. Sorry to take up so much of your time.
It hasn't felt like an hour, so
it's been such a great chatting with you, and we look forward to seeing you more on the UK scene. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, don't feed the trolls.